Well, hey there, it's Pastor Rick again from Covenant Life Church, back here with you as we're going through last Sunday's message about families, my family, your family, our families, not being cursed, especially not being cursed by God. And we've been going through Exodus 34. We've been going verse by verse, starting with verse 6. We're going to get into verse 7 here a little bit to review. Just remember that God was speaking to Moses, trying to get through to all his people, and that he was in desperation trying to get the point across to them that he was the God of compassion and mercy and slow to anger and full of unfailing love and faithfulness. And they just weren't getting it. And so that's the point he was trying to get across to them as he was discussing these things that a lot of us call a generational curse. Okay, so let's move forward here and get into verse 7, where it says that I lavish unfailing love to 1,000 generations. That sounds like he's into generational blessings. That's what he's really wanting. That's what he mentions long before any indication of what might happen to future generations based on sin. He starts off by talking to Moses, through Moses to his people, I should say, about he lavishes unfailing love to 1,000 generations. That's his will. That's what he wants to do. It says that he forgives iniquity, rebellion, and sin. So we see that his grace, even back in the Old Testament days, as many people might say, extends far beyond any judgment or wrath he may or may not have, to 1,000 generations for the blessings. That's the God that I know. That's the God of grace that I see in the New Testament, represented by Jesus in the flesh. So that's how we need to look at these verses, as the God who never changes. He's the same then as he is now, as he was 2,000 years ago when he went to the cross. But if it continues here, it does say that he does not excuse the guilty. And then it says that he will lay the sins of the parents upon their children and their grandchildren. Now that can be kind of tough to understand. And again, that's in the New Living Translation. But if we look at a better translation of that passage of Scripture in the King James Version, it translates as that he will be visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children and the children's children to the third and the fourth generation. Now that's a whole different story. Earlier it said there's sin, rebellion, and iniquity, three different things. Iniquity, the root word of how that's translated, avah, it actually means to bend, to twist, to distort, to be bent or bowed down, or to be perverted, meaning somebody is taking action on something else and forcing it to be distorted, forcing it to be perverted. And that's an important point. So we're going to get into a little more detail on that point right there, and it'll really help us understand what the Bible's trying to tell us in this historical account of what happened. So join us for the next part of this little short video series on last week's message here. My family is not cursed. Your family is not cursed. Again, I'm Pastor Rick Felder from Covenant Life Church. We're that church on the hill right next to River Valley Middle School here in Jeffersonville, Indiana, right on Veterans Parkway. If you're not part of a great church already, we hope you'll join us one morning on a Sunday morning at 10:30. We'd love to meet you, love to see you. And I'll see you in a few minutes, actually, for the next part of this video series. Thank you very much.